Very excited to bring on our guest. Normally we have him on Tuesday. We have him on Wednesday. We like to mix it up a little bit, keep the body and the mind guessing. Our friend, Big Game Boomer, rocking the Louisville pullover today. Boom, what's up?
What's up, man? How are you guys doing?
Doing good, man. Little Maction last night. It's funny. Everybody's talking about, the political results. I woke up this morning like, did you see the touchdown catch by Ohio versus Miami, Ohio last night? Nobody has any idea what I'm talking about. But no, I'm doing well. How are you doing, man? You're looking chipper this morning.
Doing good, man. Hey, it's November. We're talking football. I mean, life is good right now. It's a fun time of the year.
It's the best time of the year. You just had the World Series conclude. We really enjoyed that. You got college football. You got NFL. College basketball just started. NHL's out there. The NBA guys aren't playing hard yet, but it's still fun to watch John Morant dunk and do stuff like that. And then look, the World Cup, November 22nd. I believe.
The World Cup?
I don't know about y'all. I believe.
That's the one.
In what?
That's the one you kicked?
Yeah.
And what do you believe in?
It's that game. Huh?
What do you believe in?
Look, I believe that we will win.
Win what? The World Cup?
If they listen to me.
Okay.
If we use the plan. But anyway, that's neither here
The plan will work this year?
No, not this year.
Okay.
It's going to take at least 10 years.
Okay.
Boomer, I'll tell you about my plan, how the United States can win the World Cup some other time. But last night, the college football playoff rankings came out. Obviously, Georgia was number 1, Ohio State 2, Michigan 3, TCU 4, Tennessee 5, Oregon 6, LSU 7, USC 8, Bama 9, and Clemson 10. You can catch the rest. So we decided, and this was your idea. This is a hell of an idea. The 3 biggest snubs last night when it comes to the college football playoff rankings. Boom, I see your 3. Explain away, my friend.
All right, let's go. So number 3 is South Carolina. I don't think South Carolina is a top 25 football team, but when I saw Kentucky in the rankings last night, I was like, what are these guys thinking? Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know. Kentucky beating, hanging on and beating Mizzou gets them in the top 25. I don't think so. South Carolina beat Kentucky in Lexington. I think that if you're going to rank Kentucky, you should probably rank South Carolina. So that's my 3rd. 2 is Liberty, which is maybe the biggest snub of the whole thing. Mm-hmm. I think they're the only team in the top that's in the coaches poll and the AP top 25 that's not in the college football playoff rankings. I mean, you literally just beat Arkansas, almost beat Wake Forest. I mean, Liberty is a good football team. I know you're big on Hugh Freeze. He's a great coach. I think extremely disrespectful they're not in the top 25.
Yeah, they're the Rodney Dangerfield. They're the Rodney Dangerfield of college football. Even when I made one, I get no respect.
No respect. They'll play anybody tough. It's impressive what Freeze has done. Then I've got UCLA at 1 here. I know that they're ranked fairly high, but having USC ranked above them, to me, I think it's a little bit of a snub, a little disrespectful because, UCLA kind of manhandled Utah when they played. And then that team that lost to Utah is ranked ahead of them. Mm-hmm. I don't know. In my opinion, I think that UCLA should probably be ranked higher.
Yeah, I love that. I agree with you. I think Liberty is a huge snub. The South Carolina was interesting. I didn't expect that, but I can see what you're saying. I can see your line of thinking. Here's our 3. 1 is Michigan. Here's what I do. Okay,
Tone made this list.
I did not.
No, he did not. Tone wants nothing to do with complimenting Michigan or jinxing them in any way. So he would love for Ohio State to be up there 3 times. Basically.
Put Michigan 15.
The reason that I thought, why is Ohio State in front of Michigan? I know they started out in front of them. I know that they've won every game by double digits. But when you're looking at the eye test and you're looking at identity and you're looking at consistently, I feel like Michigan has proven that they are a better team of who they want to be. I know J.J. McCarthy's got to come along a little bit, and this is splitting hairs, and I know they're both going to play each other, but I feel like Michigan should be above Ohio State. I just feel like they have shown it is a better product on the field. I wonder if we didn't do the preseason polls and we did polls that came out week 3 or week 4, if Ohio State would still have been ahead of Michigan. I know Michigan's schedule hasn't been great either, okay, when you look at both of them. But watching the way that Ohio State has struggled with some teams and watching the way that Michigan just billy clubs everybody that they play, speaking of the subway in New York, it surprised me a little bit that Michigan is not getting more love. We are totally with you on the UCLA one, 100% with you on that. Good thing is UCLA and USC are both going to get to play each other. I question why UCLA is behind Clemson. Why?
That's a good one too.
Like look, I know Notre Dame is salty, but when you look at and you say you went on the road and lost a tough game to Oregon where they recovered a surprise onside kick, whose only loss is the drubbing they took against Georgia, and they look like one of the best teams in the country. Bo Nix is looking like a Heisman candidate, and that's not actually a joke. And you're 3 notches behind Clemson. I don't get that. And then the third one, Ole Miss, it's the same argument. Explain to me how the hell Ole Miss, whose only loss is on the road at the number 7 ranked team in the college football playoff. I'm not going by my rankings. I'm going by y'all's. Their only loss is on the road to the number 7 team in the college football playoff rankings. Yet, they're behind Clemson, who lost to Notre Dame, a 2-loss Alabama team, USC, who lost to Utah, who's ranked what? 13th in your own college football playoff. So, and then USC at 8-1. I get Ole Miss's first 5 or 6 games wasn't great, but if you're going to go off of your own rankings, if you're going to put LSU at 7, how in God's name is Ole Miss at 11 behind a 2-loss team, USC and Clemson? I don't understand that.
They'll have a chance this weekend.
Yeah, you got a chance this weekend, but again, I'm trying to find the theorem or the formula, or is it A squared plus B squared?
There is no formula.
Plus
That's
C
the problem.
squared equals
Yeah.
D. Like I think they just go in there and they're like, all right, they're like, how can we piss off everyone but also make them happy at the same time? Like it just, I can't find a theorem or some sort of formula for how this works. Like it doesn't, I'm looking at it, doesn't make sense. It absolutely doesn't make sense. And I know it'll get played out in the field, but there was some stuff last night in the rankings I just don't get.
Yeah, I mean, historically, a lot of it has to do with the logo on the helmet more than the play on the field. I mean, Ohio State, you watch them play Northwestern, I don't care about the weather. You should be able to run it, manhandle Northwestern. You've got 5 stars. Northwestern has 1 2-star guys walk-ons.
How many NFL guys are on Northwestern's team? Total. What, 2?
Yeah.
Maybe 3?
Yeah,
I know they got an offensive lineman that's a big-time player. But how many are on Ohio State? I don't know. All of them?
Yeah.
Like, it's you legitimately, there is such a big talent gap in that game. And I know the weather, people will say it's a factor, but when you know they're going to run it, and I know you're going to run it, and you still can't stop it, I question Ohio State's physicality a little bit. I really actually do.
What do you say, Boomer?
They're not. I think Ohio State is not a physical football team. They look soft. They look almost worse than last year. I don't think the offense is as good with the receiver play. I mean, they've still got some good guys, but I mean, Michigan is, I know I rag on them all the time, but Michigan, I think we're going to have the same result as last year in the game when those two play. I just think Ohio State is not right now the number 2 team in the country. It's just, it has to do because they're the Ohio State Buckeyes, that they get the benefit of the doubt, which we can all argue with and disagree with. But when it comes down to it, it's the logo on the helmet that keeps them high up there.
Yeah, and that's not saying that Ohio State can't figure it out and turn it. When you have that much talent, like at some point, you figure it out and turn it on, but we're getting toward the end of the year where you need to start peaking, right? We're seeing teams that are starting to peak. You look at LSUs and teams like that, teams that are starting to go down the drain.
Well, with the logo on the helmet, that's a good argument against, say, Cincinnati from last year, right? I mean, when you're talking about the Buckeyes and you're talking about the Wolverines, the brands are right there neck and neck. I think one of the things, Boomer, in this situation is that the Buckeyes do such a great job of drumming everyone in September and October. This is what we've been talking. We've been talking about the weather a lot when it comes to this team right here. And you saw it at play against Northwestern. You saw it at play in the game against Michigan last season. They're just beating people to death in September and October, running the score up. And I think that sticks in the minds of the playoff committee. And say what you will about the Buckeyes right now, but they've still won every game by double-digit points. That is quite a feat.
That's what I'm saying. The Ohio State-Michigan gripe that we had is very splitting hairs. The Ole Miss one, to me, is not splitting hairs.
No, and I love the Liberty pick.
Yeah, that's a great
because
one.
the committee already proven that they'll rank Tulane.
Your only loss is by 1 point on the road at Wake Forest?
Yeah, and Tulane's up at 17, 18. Tulane's 17 right now. So they'll clearly put teams with 1 loss like that up there. Where is Liberty?
Yeah, Tulane lost to Southern Miss.
Yeah.
Wake Forest would beat Southern Miss to death. They'd have to get the guys from the first 48 to go find out who did it. Oh, surprise, guess what? It just, at the end of the day, it's going to work itself out for the most part. It's just, again, I want to know the strategy behind how y'all do this. They can't give you a straight answer. Nobody can give you a straight answer. Like, well, it's a mixture of the eye test and strength of record, and we have a Ouija board and a wizard and a bunch of scientists with liquids and art paintings and stuff like that. It's just, I don't get it. It makes no sense. Blanye.
All right, BGB, what's up, my brother? Let's go to Dakota Blackburn. He wants to know, #AskBoomer, who's your most surprising team of the year and who's your most disappointing team of this year?
Most surprising, God, I would have to go. It was Illinois. Or Tennessee. I had Tennessee finishing second in the East, but the way their offense has just taken off, very, very good. Illinois. A lot of people picked them to finish last in the Big Ten West. I like the Illini, what Belimo's done. Disappointing. It's got to be Texas A&M. 3-6 now, and my God, we've said it before. Let's stop putting Texas A&M in the top 10 for preseason polls because they'll let you down.
Is Texas A&M kind of like the and I don't have any kids yet, but when you're 16 and your family sits down at like some family meal and they let you sit at the adults table and maybe have a couple glasses of wine and you haven't been drunk before and you act a fool and then they make you go back to the kids' table. Is that kind of the Texas A&M situation? Do they need to go back to the sparkling cider before we step back up to the real grape juice?
Yeah. No, they're like absolutely.
Billy
they're bad. They're bad, man.
Well, Lucci, I'll probably have a text right on my phone after the show. Hey, kids table, huh?
Kids table, huh?
Kids table.
Boomer, I want to ask you about North Carolina. This is a team early in the season that held on to win against Appalachian State, held on to win against Georgia State. Their defense is not good at all, but they maybe have one of the best football players in the country with Drake May. They're going to play at Wake Forest this weekend. Wake has committed, 11 turnovers in the past 2 games? There's only 4 quarters in a game, Boomer. 11 turnovers in the past 2 games. They're still going to have NC State too, which NC State maybe hasn't lived up to the expectation that we kind of had for them. It's still a 2-loss team though. So if Wake Forest runs that table, if North Carolina, runs that table, finds himself in the ACC championship, what is the ceiling for this team right now with Drake May at quarterback?
Well, I think the ceiling is going 11-1 and 12-1 and beating Clemson in the ACC championship.
That's wild.
UNC has been extremely impressive. Drake May, I think he's got the most touchdown passes in college football.
He's a witch.
31,
he's the lanky witch.
Yeah, he is a straight up stud. That offense is great. Phil Longo, they're dialing it up right now. Their defense is not good. You saw App State put up like 40 points in 1 quarter.
It was ridiculous.
In the fourth, yeah.
Believe me, I had North Carolina money line. I was sweating like a fat kid at a decathlon.
Yeah, but if they win all their games and beat Clemson, they're going to be right there. But I think the committee is kind of has a negative kind of bias against the ACC. So I think it's going to be tough for a 1-loss UNC team to get into the college football playoff.
Mm-hmm.
It is. They need chaos. You need TCU to lose. So, I wonder if it's almost one of those things where, North Carolina, because I don't think Clemson's going to lose again until they possibly play North Carolina. If North Carolina is able to run the gauntlet, you beat Wake, you beat NC State, 2 ranked teams, I believe. And then you finish off Clemson there, who's going to be in the top 8, probably maybe even top 6. That's a pretty good win to bolster yourself into the playoff. Like if TCU loses to Texas and then wins the Big 12 championship, I don't know if their resume is going to be as good as North Carolina's, honestly.
What was the first team you said?
If TCU loses to Texas and then wins out and wins the Big 12, and North Carolina wins out by beating 3 ranked teams plus a top maybe 5 team, hard to argue against.
You might be right, especially if they have the Heisman front runner. Because that's what it's looking like he could be.
Very important.
Yeah,
all right, Blanye,
he's fun to watch. He's a fun quarterback to watch.
All right, let's go to Malcolm Martin. He wants to know which Power 5 conference will not win a championship in the next decade.
Oh, this is easy.
Pac-12?
Yeah.
Is that, Pac-12 or ACC? Would be my guess.
UCLA and USC
I don't think Dan Lanning's going to pull one down in Oregon?
Nah.
The next decade?
No, I don't think Dan Lanning will be at Oregon after the next 3 years.
Hey,
where's he going to be?
I have to say.
Really?
Where's he going to be? No.
Dan
Where's he going to be,
I
Jay?
don't know.
Where's he? Yeah, you do. No one smiles like that and says, I don't know.
Do you have some insider info? Are you insider trading live on TV?
Insider info.
What is it?
I'm not Martha Stewart in this thing.
What is it?
Wow.
No, I'm not. Look,
Why won't
just
you say
trust me.
anything?
Just trust me.
Don't do that.
Bishop Sycamore.
Shoot him with the paintball
Yeah,
gun.
don't do that.
No,
He
first off,
does it.
after I had to do the one chip challenge and all that other just absolutely evil stuff that I went through, I'm not taking the paintball.
Boomer, I have to get shot in the back with a paintball gun 5 times for losing in fantasy football. How do you feel about
Against
that?
who, David?
That's going to be brutal, man. Wear a
You
couple
can,
A lot of
jackets.
surface area
I get
in
to
that long
shoot.
body, that
Wear a
long
couple
6'7"
jackets. I don't
body.
think that's an option. You can tribute swap. What do they call it in Hunger Games?
Volunteers tribute?
You can volunteer tribute
God,
for
you're
me if you
100
like.
years old.
Man,
You're
I'm
100
going to
years
stay away
old.
from that. I'm not going to come down to Nashville. I'll stay in Oklahoma. I don't want any of that.
Yeah.
Paintballs can reach to Oklahoma.
Yeah, believe me. I'll aim it in the sky.
sniper.
I'll just go off the North Star and just feel out where you're at. But no, Boomer, we appreciate it, my friend. It's always great stuff. Tell everybody where they can find you.
Yep. Just follow me on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Big Game Boomer. Like I said, we're just doing lists and rankings and content all season long.
Watching
So-
football, doing lists, and having fun. Yeah, it's an
Yep,
amazing
living
life.
the dream.
It's a wonderful life. We'll have that Instagram collab later as well. Appreciate you, Boom.
All right, fellas, y'all take it easy.
Definitely. Hey, everybody, appreciate you checking us out. If you just found us and you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that button because I promise you, we're going to be pumping out more content than Josh Heupel's offense. And believe me, that's a lot.